Hi, my name is Hannah. Welcome back to my channel, Savage Reads. I have read quite a few books this last week. I've been reading a lot lately, and so I am excited to talk about some of these books, as well as I will show you my knitting update. I said in the last video that I wasn't going to show my progress because I would wait till the next video when I would have finished the front of the sweater, and no, I'm not done with the front of the sweater, but I am getting somewhere. I've gotten to this point, which is, 3/4 of the way up my torso, so I just have a little bit more to go. I really think this stitch is pretty. I mean, look at that. That's gorgeous. It's gonna be a really pretty sweater, but it does take a lot of work. It is definitely more time consuming than just a straight up garter stitch, but I'm having a fun time and eventually I will get through this. So it's a very fun, cozy activity. And let's go ahead and jump into the books that I've read. This first book that I want to talk about is called Tales from the Norse Legends by Edward Ferry. And we listened to this, me, my daughters. This is when I was looking for some short books to listen to in the car with my daughters. And we listened to this really quickly, and it is very much exactly what the title says. It explains a little bit about Norse mythology, tells a couple of the tales. It's framed by the beginnings, how everything came to be in Norse mythology, and the ending, and how everything will end in Norse mythology, and then a couple tales in the center. Now, this was an audio production. It is short. It's a 3-hour-long audiobook, but it is a terrible audio production. This is a fine book. It was published in 1995, but honestly, it's just a really basic Norse mythology book, which is fine. I'm introducing it to my kids, get involved in some different mythology. I thought it was enjoyable, but the audio production is just garbage. There are music breaks in between each story, and they are recorded so loud. You'll be listening to the story and suddenly horns and drums all in your ears. It's just not done well, and some of the music made me feel like I was listening to Monty Python or something. It just was bad. So this book itself, fine, gives you a really basic look at some Norse mythology, but I cannot recommend that audiobook, which is too bad. But my daughters enjoyed it. It was fun, but it was a lot of driving in the car quickly. Turn down the volume. Okay, turn it back up. Turn down the volume. Turn it back up, which is kind of an annoying experience. Now, this next book is called The Hero and the Crown by Robin McKinley. And this is a recommendation from my cousin who said it is her favorite Robin McKinley. I have the book Spindle's End by this author, and I've been excited to go back and reread that soon. But I thought, let's try this out. My cousin says it's her favorite. Let's see how it goes. And the description says, Erin could not remember a time when she had not known the story. She had grown up knowing it. It was the story of her mother, the witch woman who expelled the king into marrying her, to get an heir that would rule Damar. It was told that she turned her face to the wall and died of despair when she found she had borne a daughter instead of a son. Erin was that daughter. But there was more of the story yet to be told. Erin's destiny was greater than even she had dreamed, for she was to be the true hero who would wield the power of the blue sword. Now, this is the second in a series, but it's a prequel, and you can read this as a standalone book. And something that I really love about this book is that you have such a strong main character, and she goes out and finds ways that she can go and slay the dragons and find out what her destiny is. And I was really just taken in, swept away by this book. There is just this element of this book that feels a little bit fever dream-y, very fantastical, magical world. Robin McKinley is great at these descriptions that sweep you away, but also it's so magical, it doesn't feel as grounded maybe, because really, I feel like, wow, where was I? What happened? Which is fine. If you want a book to really sweep you away, this is going to do that. And I really enjoyed it for that. The ending really gave you that wishing it could keep going on feeling, where you feel a little bit hollowed out and like something is wrong, which I think really added to that epic fantasy kind of feel. And so overall, this book was just excellent. I do highly recommend. It's very much a classic fantasy, but in a way that really pulls you in and takes you to places you didn't imagine. Now, this next book was a recommendation from Melinda at A Web of Stories, so make sure to check out her channel because this book was excellent. So make sure to check out her channel, and it is How to Share an Egg, A True Story of Hunger, Love, and Plenty by Bonnie Reichert. This book is a memoir of Bonnie's life, and her father was a survivor of the Holocaust, and he always said that she would one day write his book, but she never felt like she could. And this is that book, but it's also Bonnie's book. It is about her life and her learning how to process such difficult things in her family's past. It's a book that deals with generational trauma, and it is a book that has beautiful descriptions of food and the way that food can connect us through the generations. It is just one of the best Holocaust books that I have read in a while. While it does tell her father's story and it is tragic and heartbreaking, it is also just so life-affirming to see the beauty that has come from his life moving forward. It just was such a good book. I cannot recommend this book enough. It was a beautiful, beautiful memoir, and I highly recommend it. I am a bit of a sucker for books that are people learning about their family and connecting to their roots. I think this really gives you that, and you can tell that this author has been a food writer for most of her career because her descriptions of food were beautiful, but it also wasn't just thrown in. Those descriptions of food were really integral to her and her father's healing and coming together. And it was just an amazing book. Highly recommend. Thank you so much, Melinda. I am so glad that I finally got to this book, but I highly, highly recommend it. Now, this next book is The Bones Beneath My Skin by TJ Klune. Now, this book came out in 2018. So it came out before House in the Cerulean Sea and Under the Whispering Door, and I loved those books. And I wanted more TJ Klune. So I wasn't quite sure what to expect with this because if you know TJ Klune, you can have kind of wacky plots. You can be stuck in a post-apocalyptic robot world. You can be in a world of mutants and monsters. You can be in the afterlife. And this book just sucks you in. I could not put this book down. I read it in a morning. I couldn't stop. I had to know what happened next. And this is following our main character, Nate Cartwright. After the tragic and horrible death of his parents, he is left a truck and their cabin. And after some professional setbacks, he decides he is going to go and recuperate in the cabin for a few weeks. When he arrives at the cabin, there is already a man and a young girl at the cabin pointing a gun at him. And you follow Nate trying to figure out what is going on with this man and this girl. Is the girl okay? Is she safe? What are they on the run from? And this girl might not be all that she seems. So plot-wise, it sucks you in right away. You need to make sure that everything's gonna be okay. There's this mystery. It's really engaging that way. And there is something that I think TJ Klune manages to do that is just so incredible to me, because he manages to have such a positive worldview, a view of the goodness of humanity that just permeates his books, even when difficult and horrible things happen. And so this book is that found family, that love conquers all kind of feeling. Even though there are some tragic and horrible events, you just feel the care that these characters grow to have for each other. You feel this love. And yes, this book does have that romance element that TJ Klune's books typically have. And yes, there is that one spicy scene toward the end, but it's pretty easy to see when it's coming, and you can skip the 2 pages if that is going to bother you, because overall, this book was just really heartwarming and affirming and just filled with a hope for the goodness of humanity that I think is really necessary nowadays. I just really loved this book. I had a great time with it. I was surprised. I haven't heard very many people talk about this one, but I just really wanted to give it a try, and I'm so glad that I did. And that is what I read the last week. So if you have any thoughts on these books, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you all on the next one.